Welcome to the Sabiha Khan Show. We have Kenny Hirt here, and he is a team member of Maison De Goats. And he's very graciously accepted to do this podcast twice. And we're very grateful to him for that. And I want you to give your introduction a bit, Kenny.
Well, like you said, my name's Kenny Hirt. I live in Nashville, in Tennessee, in the USA. I probably got into NFTs maybe in the summer, like July, August, and I guess that's like a lot of people. I guess I kind of started with like Top Shot, which is kind of the way a lot of people got onboarded. But from that, really started getting into NFTs, like I said, in about July, August, and then since that time, I've just been, diving in, listening to Twitter Spaces and podcasts, and reading and absorbing as much as I can. It's a pretty fun space with a lot of drama and things happening all the time. So it keeps your interest, and I've got a really found a really good home in the Goats Discord, which has helped me tremendously with education and just meeting making a lot of online friends, and so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
So you said that NBA Top Shot was your first introduction to NFTs, right?
Yeah, or I also probably should maybe throw out So Rare, which is a French company that does soccer cards, and the soccer cards are kind of NFTs, and you play a game with them. But I would consider them and Top Shot, and then also Zed Run, which is kind of like a horse racing game. Like those kind of, to me, are kind of big and have been out there a little bit longer than there were like Bored Apes, and a lot of the big NFTs people think about kind of all started, I think, in like June-ish, and So Rare and Top Shot and Zed, they all kind of were before that. They're also kind of a little bit different than your traditional
NFTs.
your 10,000 what do they call the art, like derivative art, or
EFP projects.
Yeah, where it's all kind of randomized digital art. So they're definitely different than that. But anyway,
so it's very strange. Like I got to know about Top Shot, I think yesterday.
Yeah.
And
it's Top Shot's probably like the big first onboarding thing, because it was super easy, because you didn't have to do MetaMask or anything like that. You could just go and use a credit card, because they used Dapper Labs. You know what? I wonder if it's anyway. It was because you could use a credit card. It was just very easy to onboard people. And at the beginning, it was you basically just buy packs, and you pay like
and
$20.
then you rip, and then
right.
you have to rip your pack, right?
Yeah.
So after you rip your pack, then you know what you've got, right?
Right. And at the very beginning, it was kind of free money. Like every pack you would get, well, you would have to get in a queue, and then if you got high enough in the queue to where you actually got the pack, you could always sell whatever you got in your pack for at least twice what you paid for the pack. So
there was always like a buyer for it.
Yeah, and it was always make a money maker. So of course it got really popular really fast, because everybody likes free money. So you kept having more and more people lining up to get these packs. But then it kind of hit a tipping point, and then they started putting out so many packs. The supply got bigger. Oh, it's fine. The supply got bigger to where all of a sudden, the prices started crashing, and I don't know where. I mean, it's still around. It's still doing great. They're actually moving into American football, NFL, which is the number one sport here by far. So a lot of people think it might have a big resurgence now as people get interested in the football packs, but only time will tell. I don't really do Top Shot too much anymore, or at all anymore. I'm more interested in all these tokens that mint all of a sudden out of nowhere, or there's a new NFT project minting daily. So enough to keep up with there.
Mhm. So, okay, let's start with the basics. I mean, NBA Top Shot, like I got to know them about them, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, because I saw somebody posting it on Twitter. I was like, wow, they are like selling cards of moments, like, you know, like, and they're selling, and I was like, wow, like I was not aware of it. And now you say that it has been like since July, like the
No,
market has
before then,
before July.
yeah.
Very interesting. So let's start with like what is an NFT to you? Like what is an NFT? Like how would you explain it to somebody who's a normie who is outside outside the NFT world?
Yeah.
How would
Not,
you?
yeah, that's not easy. But so yeah, NFT. I mean, I guess you know, it's a non fungible token, which
Mm,
is a little bit different from a fungible token, which a normie might be a little more familiar with, because I think everybody's heard of like Bitcoin. So
mm,
that would be a fungible token, because every Bitcoin is the same. You can't tell, you know, one Bitcoin's one Bitcoin, and if you had one, you know, they look the same, they are the same, they're worth the same. Whereas a non-fungible token, which all these NFTs are, each one is unique. It has its own serial number, and it's different. I mean, it might look pretty similar, but there's going to be some difference between every one of this in a set. And most sets are done in 10,000, but you know, some are less, couple or more. But again, each one's unique, and it has its own unique serial number. Um, and a normie probably then would say, well, it's just a picture, who cares? I can, you know, right click it or screenshot it, and then I own it too. And it's like, well, no, you don't
mm,
own it. Just like you can go into a museum and the Mona Lisa is on the wall, and you know that's priceless and worth, you know, tens of millions of dollars. But you can go in the gift shop and they've got, you know, all these prints of the Mona Lisa, and it pretty much looks exactly like the painting on the wall, but you know
mm,
the prints are worth $10, because you know they're not the original one. And an NFT, because of that serial number, gives you a record, it gives you a history, it's verifiable, and that's what makes it gives it its value. Plus, it's you know limited supply, and then a lot of the NFTs aren't just a picture, but they come with added utility, um,
mhm,
whether you know it's entering a community, or it could be you know access to a book or a board game. I just bought one called that's uh, being done by a screenwriter named Ben Mesrich, and he's done a couple of big movies like what was the movie called, about the card counters from Harvard. Um, why am I blanking on it? But he also did The Social Network. Anyway, he's pretty well known screenwriter. So he's
oh
using.
yeah, Jenkins the Valet. Are you talking about him?
I'm sorry.
Jenkins the Valet. Like, are you
Oh, no,
talking
no,
about
no, no.
him?
That's well, that's connected with Bored Apes, and yeah, it's kind of a similar idea. But this is totally different from that. But basically, they
Oh,
meant it like
I heard about it on Twitter. Like people was, if you own that NFT, you can like have a say in the storyline.
that's how Jenkins is working.
Yeah.
And on this
Oh,
one, they're gonna release like three, and then if you have all three in the set, you get like a token. And the idea is you'll actually like have a small share like in the screenplay. So if the screenplay, you know, becomes a movie and does really, really well, like you will get paid if you have one of these tokens. You know,
that's
kind of
really
share in the revenues of the movie. In addition, some of the other like benefits of it could be, I think, like if you have like a rare one, you could like go to like the original, like you know the first screening of it. You know, the first time they show it, which is usually a big event. You know, all the actors show
good.
up. So you
Mm-hmm.
know, so that's just one example, but you know, that's kind of
So,
the
yeah, so, like, sorry to cut you off, but NFT is like a digital asset, right?
right.
It could be an image, like a PFP, or a video, or a text, or a GIF, right? Anything that can live online can be an NFT, right?
Right. Yeah. I
And
mean,
then it has additional utilities like the way you described, you could be a part of a movie, you could share revenue with it, you could do a lot of things.
right. Well, I mean, the better projects, it's more than just a picture. I mean, if it's just a picture, that's great. Maybe you love the art and that's what you want to own, but it's hard to explain, why should the value, get to 1 ETH or 2 ETH or 3 ETH if it's just a picture. It needs to
Mm.
be, it needs to be more of a almost a business in a way, where they're continuing to give things to the NFT owners, benefits in some way.
Yeah. So what do you think, like, when did NFTs like pick up pace? Like, to everybody that I talk to, they talk about July, June, right? When the
Right.
board, like
Yeah.
when it took off. So,
I don't.
like, were you before? Yeah.
Well, no, I wouldn't say. I think June, July is like when Bored Apes minted, and it didn't. They didn't take off like immediately. Like they didn't even sell out immediately. I think it took a few days or a week for them to sell out, and then
Wow.
and then the price was under 1 ETH for quite weeks, if not longer, and then it just slowly started getting momentum and getting more popular, and things, right
Mhm.
place, right time, to where
So
now the floor
like,
is like 70 ETH or whatever it is.
did you get a chance to mint it? Like, did you think about it? Minting a
That
Bored
was
Ape?
I didn't get into NFTs until like maybe a month after that. So,
Sorry. Yeah,
but
I'm sick, so yeah, I might cough in
no,
between.
it's quite all right. There's a lot of that going around. It's winter here,
Yeah, like winters. I mean, you said that it was snowing like a few days ago. I was like,
it's
well, I've
yeah,
never seen snow. Like I live in like in a desert.
yeah.
Not
I
a
live
desert,
in,
but yeah, Rajasthan is a desert. Yeah.
I have I told you I've been there many years ago, but yes, and you're not too far. Rajasthan's basically a desert, so
Yeah. I mean, I want to see snow some days, but I don't like winters. I mean, I'm not a winter person, I would say. I'm more of a
yeah,
summer person.
yeah. Nobody likes cold.
A lot of people do actually. My sister does, and she's like, yeah, whatever. Like, when it's summer, don't talk to me. She's like that because just because I say that, oh, I like summers, and when it gets too hot in here, she's like, yeah, it's all your fault. I mean,
Yeah.
so yeah, I was. So you came to NFTs after July, right?
Mhm.
After this whole madness of Bored Ape started.
Correct. I'm just gonna turn around. I'm like
Okay.
sitting in the lights, aren't I? I'm gonna try to get that light from the background, but keep going. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So okay, so like to all the normies out there, NFTs are like digital asset. I've written it here. So something which can live digitally, and then you own it. Like you own that digital asset, right? You don't necessarily own the copyrights to it. Like not a lot of projects give copyrights, right?
That's correct. That's
Apes
one of
give
the
it,
things.
Gutter Cats give it. Do goats
Yeah,
give it?
yeah. Goats give it. I think the majority do give it, but that's something like if it is important to you, you should research before you buy into a project, because that's kind of like people. Some people are taking their apes or their goats or whatever, and they're creating, giving it a name and creating a character or potentially a brand around their specific PFP. And if you don't own the copyright to it, you can't do that. So
Yeah.
that's
So it's also like an entry ticket to a community. And I think for me, NFTs, like the best part about NFTs is community. So like tell me about that. Like how has this community of goats changed your life? Like isn't it like
well,
very weird?
I mean, the goats have been great. I don't know. I got lucky stumbling into their Discord pretty early on. I can't remember if that was maybe like even the first one I went into, but I've been into enough NFT discords now to where, I mean, it just stands out in a couple of ways. One is that it's busy enough to where if you go in there and you ask a question about something, like you'll get a response usually within 2 minutes or less. And then the
Mhm.
response you get is going to be pretty accurate and educated. And if they don't know the answer, they'll usually like at a mod or someone and be like, I'm not sure the answer, but at so and
Mhm.
so can probably help you. So the education component of it was like so helpful because like yeah, when I started with goats, I think my first NFT was just because I had a Coinbase account, so it was in my Coinbase wallet, and they're like, no, you should switch over to MetaMask. It's much easier to use. So they
Mhm.
helped me with setting up my MetaMask and explaining gas fees and how to interpret or use Etherscan to find information. If I have a transaction that gets hung up, there's somebody there that's was able to help me with it. And then there's just the Discord's kind of fun, and there's enough people in there, and they talk about stuff in real life, or on the weekends they do poker, or just talk about the sports, and so that's been it's just anytime you log into the Discord, there's somebody there now, that I can talk to, and it's also nice because a lot of the other discords I've been into can have one of two problems. One is it's just not active enough to where if you type a question, like it could be an hour before you get a reply, and it's just not
Yeah.
as helpful in that way. And then
Mhm.
the ones that potentially are busy though, sometimes the Discord is just filled with people that are just trying to up their rank because sometimes they'll get benefits if the more they post. So they'll just post GM a lot or sweep the floor or delist. And it's just a bunch of basically
Crap.
spam
Yeah.
type comments over and over again talking about delisting and sweeping the floor and let's all pump this one tweet, and everybody's just trying to get the price to pump up, and they're not
Which is
talking.
actually like a community, like an actual community. So that's what I like tell people that when you buy a PFP project, like a good PFP project, you actually you are it's basically an entry ticket to a community, right? You get to
Right.
be a part of them. And then of course like they're internet friends, but it's more than that. Like you actually start meeting with a lot of new people, and they care about like each other, and they talk and they have like a lot of common points also. Plus that community is actually, so basically what I want to say is that NFTs are just not pictures. For example, like basically a PFP community, mostly they do like 10k projects, right?
Mhm.
So there are 10,000 NFTs and you buy one, right? So how you buy is it's like a primary market, right? Like just for shares. So you just go to their website and mint when they're minting,
Or on the secondary
right?
on Opensea.
Or you could just buy it like from like a secondary market from Opensea. So okay, tell us our viewers about Openseas. Like what is Opensea and like how does it work? I know like I'm
Yeah.
asking basic
Well,
questions, but this is a
It's
basic
not based.
podcast.
I don't know exactly how it works, but I mean, OpenSea is by far the largest market to buy and sell NFTs, um, and like I mean, you could do it on an. I don't want to even get into this too much, but I mean, you could. I mean, they do more than just Ethereum network. You can buy and sell on Polygon, and I think they have one more as well, but most people just like myself just pretty much use the Ethereum things, NFTs that are
Hmm.
on the Ethereum network. Um, but yeah, so it's kind of like
The marketplace, right?
yeah, it's kind of like I guess eBay in that way.
Hmm.
It just shows it just basically is a list of all the NFTs that are for sale, and you're able to go to OpenSea and um, if you connect your wallet, it will process the transact. Your wallet basically just as a ledger, just kind of
Yeah.
confirms
So it's
the
basically
transaction a couple
like
weeks
buying
ago.
online. It's very easy, right? It's
Super
just like
easy.
how you shop online. You just go and shop NFTs on OpenSea. So OpenSea.io is the biggest marketplace right now. And like
By
another
far.
one that's gonna come is like Rare. What was that?
You're talking about the one that with the looks token that just started
Yeah, yeah.
last week? Yeah. I forget the name, but I mean that just started a
Even
week
I,
ago.
I did not like, yeah,
The
I do not remember the name,
one,
but
but
so OpenSeas
Coinbase.
are the popular, right?
Yeah, I mean most people are banking on Coinbase is gonna supposedly come out with their NFT marketplace sometime this quarter. And just because
Mhm.
they're so big, they already have more accounts than OpenSea. They'll quickly become a major. They'll be either number one or number two with OpenSea when
So
it comes.
Coinbase is it's an exchange where you buy crypto, right? In
Yes.
US.
Mm-hmm.
So in India, we have CoinBCX, and it works like the same way.
Right.
So yeah, so I'm gonna tell them that Coinbase is an exchange where you like buy and trade cryptos, and they're gonna like open up NFT trading, right?
Yeah, it
You
makes
can
sense for them.
list on. So you list on. So the projects are gonna list on Coinbase or what? Like they're gonna approve
Yeah,
projects, right?
yeah, they've been over the past month. They've been approved. I think maybe they're up to maybe 15 or 20 projects that have been approved that they'll list on their network, and they'll just keep adding to that. Um,
Hmm.
but for crypto, because yeah, the way most people probably the way most people started in NFTs was like myself, and they used Coinbase to buy their Ethereum, and then they transferred their Ethereum from Coinbase to MetaMask, and then
Hmm.
use MetaMask and OpenSea to buy their NFTs. So it makes sense that Coinbase, if they create their own marketplace, they're trying to cut OpenSea and MetaMask basically out and just keep all that money in house.
In-house, yeah. That's very smart. And I think people are waiting desperately for Coinbase to like launch, right?
Yeah, some people are. It doesn't, but OpenSea pretty much goes down almost every day. People joke, I call it broken sea, or
Yeah.
some people call it closed sea. But I mean, it's usually not down very much. But I think gas fees are a bigger issue, but that's not their fault. I mean, Coinbase will have to deal with gas fees. That just has to do with the Ethereum network.
Okay, it's good that you brought up gas fees. So tell us, what is gas fees? What is gas fees?
Gas fees are frustrating part of NFTs, are the most frustrating part. So when you buy an NFT and you basically click to like confirm your transaction, you'll kind of get a pop up and it'll show you a couple of fees that you have to pay. So if the NFT, whatever the price is, 0.2 or whatever, there'll be OpenSea is going to take 2.5%.
Mm-hmm.
And then the project creators usually will take anywhere from 2.5. Some take as much as 10%, which is really really high, in my opinion. But there'll be a creator fee, and then on top of those two fees, there's what's called gas fee, which is the miners who are I think of them as basically the people in their homes have have the computer. Um, the computers that are uh, the ledgers that keep track of all the basically Ethereum.
So
It's a
uh,
decentralized network of all these computers, and those computers are the miners. And for the cost they have to pay to keep the ledger decentralized and updated, that's the gas fee. Why it is so high, why it spikes all over the place, nobody really been able to explain to me to where I can understand why. I just know um, uh,
people
it's
want the
measured in.
transaction to like process faster, so they like spike up the gas so that they pay more. Is that so?
I mean, that's the way it's supposed to work, but at times it's very confusing as to why. So the gas is measured in what's called GWEI, GWEI, and you can go anywhere and see what GWEI is before you do your transaction. And maybe like a year ago, GWEI was generally like 20 to 40, and then
Good
when I
time.
when I
Yeah.
first started in the NFTs, like in August, it was you know 80. 60 to 100 a lot of times, and you know, people that were there before me are like, yeah, this is kind of a lot. It used to be like, you know, in the 20s, and
Mm-hmm.
now it's getting Gwei is like, for the past few days, Gwei's been, I mean, it's barely gotten below 100 ever. It's
Mm-hmm.
been, you know, 120 to 200, you know, most of the day. And um so especially if you're buying like a more inexpensive NFT, like something that's point 0.1 or less, um, you know,
You pay more in gas, right?
not necessarily more in gas, but like gas can easily be like 0.05. So if it's like really hard for people to justify buying something for point 0.1 if between the Opensea transaction fee and the creator fee and the gas fee, all of a sudden you're like, wow, I got to pay point 0.2 just to buy something that's, you know, point 0.1,
0.1, yeah.
right? So
So, and it's very important to like get educated on like how do you manage the gas fee, because I saw gas fee being like $450, I think, the previous week, and it was like absurd. I'm like, oh my god, like it's just getting higher and higher day by day. Like it
yep,
comes down usually, right? So when I bought my first NFT, I thought like maybe, yeah, gas, like whatever the gas is showing in the transaction, it's not gonna go down from that. And I think paid a lot like for my first NFT, and I regret it. But so anybody like going and buying their first NFTs, like do your research about gas, and like wait for the gas to come down. It's
yep,
usually is 60 to like paying $60 to $80 is okay for a transaction, but I
yep.
would say it does go like below 60 also sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes, usually uh, late at night here in the U.S., which I guess would be during the
Yeah.
day where you are. But basically, when
Yeah.
America, yeah, when New York and Los Angeles are asleep in the middle of the night, that's
That's
usually
the
your best
good
chance.
time to buy
Yeah,
or mint.
yeah. Although I
Okay.
don't think there's too many.
So
Usually, not too many mints going on at like 2 a.m. New York time. But
yeah. So have you like bought any art as NFTs? We'll quickly wrap this up. I mean, I know it's getting late there.
no,
So
no, no,
like I
it's
have
fine.
a few
Yeah,
questions.
no,
Yeah.
I haven't done art, but like, yeah, I know other people that, you know, do have bought like one of ones and some art like that. Maybe one day, but right now I'm just, yeah, more focused on all these 10,000
PFP
runs.
projects.
Yeah, the gosh, I'm blanking again. I'm still blanking on it's not degenerative art. It's anyway, but basically the art where
Code
it's,
generated art. That's what you mean, like code generative art.
well, it's just where it's I mean, it's art, and but it's
Mhm.
all these traits that are then put in a randomizer, and you know, create all your unique ones, because it's like, hey, we've got these 5 traits, and each trait has a set of 15 properties underneath it, whether it's mouth or earring or hair, and then you just put
Mm.
it in a randomizer, and it just mixes them up and spits out 10,000 unique you know, pieces of art with these same traits and properties, but each one's unique.
Yeah, and then you have like ranging from common to rare ones, right?
Yep.
So yeah, and when you mint them, like if you get a rare one, because it's all by chance, right? You go and mint and you do not know what you're gonna get, and then it's minted, and the more rare it is, like you're gonna get a better price for it,
Correct.
right? It's
Yep.
more valuable.
Yep. Usually, yep. They'll
Okay, so
reveal, like, a lot of
yeah,
times,
there are
like,
reveal parties after that. Yeah.
yeah, and that's usually, there'll be a lot of trading around then, because some people aren't paying as much attention. So when it reveals, if you're really on top of things, and you know where to go to see the list of where you can put in the ID numbers and see how rare things are. But when that art first reveals, sometimes people will have things that are fairly rare listed at near the floor. So people, you know, will quickly go in there and buy up the things that are essentially mispriced.
Okay, so like, is there any good project which is like which you have your eyes on, which are gonna be like minting in a few days?
No, nothing I'm aware of that's minting in the next few days, but I'm not always
So
100% on top of things.
do you mint new stuff, or do you like to invest in like the projects that you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to mint more stuff, but a lot of time, usually the stuff that would be the best to mint,
Hmm.
there's a lot of demand for, so it's hard to get on the white list
Yeah.
to be able to mint it. And then the other problem with that is a lot of these things that get hyped to like get on the white list, they are like, retweet this and tag 5 of your friends, and I don't like, tagging my friends with, a random tweet to, try to get on all these white lists.
When I was new, like I'm talking about a months back, I was doing it all the time. Like I was tagging all my friends to get giveaways and whitelist, and most of them are fake now. Like now I'm not even like participating in any. But yeah, when you're like new on Twitter and you just want NFTs, you do a lot of that shit.
Right, right. Yeah. And then the other thing is a lot of times in their Discord, where I was saying where some Discords just aren't that great, is
Hmm.
the part of the to try to get on the white list, they'll say you need to like get like a certain ranking in their Discord, which basically means you have to make a certain amount of posts in their Discord, which leads
Hmm.
to people just saying, GM and just, just posting to post so they get their number of posts in, as opposed to posting something that they think people might be interested in actually, reading.
Yeah. Yeah. So we didn't say like what is a whitelist. So how would you describe a whitelist?
It's just a list of people that are going to be allowed to mint a project. So
Hmm.
a lot of times, if it's a high demand project, that getting on the wait list is very competitive because people, if there's enough demand, people kind of know that it's going to immediately be trading at 2 or 3x what the mint price is. So again,
Hmm.
that's kind of quote quote free money. So anybody wants to, even if they believe in the project, they just want to own it long term. But even people that don't necessarily believe in the project, they're just like, hey, I just want to flip it. Like if I can get on the white list and mint it, I know I'm going to make some money, so I'll just mint it and then sell it real quick and then move on to the next thing. So getting on the wait list is really important and a good way to start making
Yeah.
money in NFTs, but not, of course, not all projects are super high demand to where they're going to sell out and immediately go up. That's only a small percentage of them. Um,
Yeah. So summarizing like all that we have talked about, NFTs are like digital assets, right? And then there's a marketplace for it. You can trade it, you can flip it, right?
of
Or you
course,
can hold it and then enjoy the utilities. And the utilities would include being a part of the community, getting airdrops, um, getting invited to events in real life events, right?
right.
Also like access to their merch, access
Yep.
to their whatever like the project is doing. So it's basically a business,
Right. And
right?
yeah,
And then you hold a token to that business, like you're a part of that business,
right. And yeah,
right?
and one other thing that's pretty common for a lot of NFTs is, and goats especially, is the big part of the utility is that the metaverse. Um,
Yeah.
and a lot of these projects are building in the Sandbox, which sometime this year, hopefully second or third quarter, the Sandbox is finally going to launch their game. And the Sandbox is basically just this huge virtual world of land, and all these projects, individuals,
Hmm.
major corporations like Apple, they're buying big plots of land in the Sandbox to kind of develop their own little metaverse. So, like what Goats is doing, they've got a big 6x6 plot, and so they're building like they're going to take like a 2x2 section and build like a down. They're building what they calling Goatsville, and they're basically building like a city. So they're building like a downtown area with hospitals and fire stations. They're going to have a golf course. They're going to have this big, I mean, the project's called Maison De Goat, or House of Goats. And so they're going to have like a big country
I
club.
saw the sneak peek and it was
Yeah,
amazing.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And it's, yeah,
It was
there's a
it has
sports
like a
book.
community area, and then I think it also had a theater. I mean, I was not sure if it was a theater or something. And I think Goats is a great project, like for any newbie to get in, even like kids. I got myself a kid, right? A
There you
green
go. Yeah.
highlight kid, and I think it's that's like a very safe first NFT to have. I love the Goats. I mean, when I like on my in my initial days on Twitter, like I somehow like stumbled into a goat space, and I got a lot of education from there. Also, like they're great people. So Goats, like I love the project,
That's
and
sorry to interrupt, but I should, yeah, but so I don't forget is like, one other like really important thing. Um, a couple of times, there's a lot of bad projects out there and essentially bad actors, especially with a lot of these derivative, cake apes, lazy apes, everything apes, fat
everything.
apes, yeah, anything ape. But there's just so many projects out there.
I
But
saw Ape Vibes, and I was like, wow.
yeah, Desperate Ape Wives. So like people will just see these minting and see that they're selling kind of fast, and they'll just kind of FOMO into them and just be like, oh, I can do a quick flip, and everybody buys them. And so some of these
Yeah.
do really well and some don't. But unfortunately, with these bad actors, there's some that literally within a day or two after they mint, or they're like gone, and just the developers just walk away and take the money. Um, this has happened to me a couple times. Luckily, never with
Wow.
like too much money. And so the reason I got into this is probably the most important thing you should pay attention to when thinking about buying a new NFT is finding out who is the developer.
Mm.
Who started this NFT? Um, are they doxxed? Like, who are they? Is this person
Yeah.
actually a real person? Do people like actually know where they live and what they've done? They have a history that makes working and not doing other things that makes you think they'll do a good job with this. But if you can't figure out that, then it's pretty tricky. But if the person like kind of is out there and they have their name and people know who they are, then you're much safer buying it, because they're not gonna. I mean, it's their reputation on the line, and they don't want.
They're not gonna rug the project, right?
Right. But if you can't figure
So
out who the actual people
doxing,
are behind it,
yeah.
that's the problem.
So you use the word doxed, right?
Yep.
So dogs, and you only told me that doxed means that the identity of the person is revealed, because in NFT land, like everybody is behind a PFP, right? Behind
Right.
an image, and you don't know like who is that person? Like, is that even a real person with a real name? So before buying into any NFT project, you need to like know who is behind the project, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's been projects that have tried to appeal that like a bunch of men have done that have tried to appeal
Sorry.
to a female market, to where they've
Yeah.
had female looking PFPs and names, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm investing in this project for women, and it's like, well, no, because, or you think that, but it's actually all just a bunch of guys behind the scenes. And that's why being doxxed and like really understanding who the
Mm.
people are and what they're trying to do is probably the most important thing to be comfortable with and understand before you buy any NFT.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. So, like while we are on this topic, like, how do you find a good NFT project? Like, for example, if somebody is like completely new to NFT, like what's the advice that you're gonna give? Like, how should they?
Honestly, the advice would be what's worked and been good for me. So I would say start with the Goats Discord, because there's just enough people in there that like I'm so
And we are
comfortable
not
with.
plugging the project, right? Because We actually
There,
like the project,
yeah,
both
but
of
I
us.
mean, there's other Discord, but and it's just the one I know the best, and it's the one I'm in all the time, and I know there's people in there, and they're docs, and they have good intentions, and they're helpful, and so if you're just in a Discord that's got, you only need maybe a dozen people like that, and then
Hmm.
just all of a sudden, if you're just in the Discord, one will be like, hey, are you anybody minting this project today? And you're like, never heard of it, what's it about? And they'll give you a quick little and spiel on it and say, hey, I'm doing it. And if it's once you kind of have a comfort level with you know somebody's username and trust them, then when they say something like that, you can trust it and be like, okay, well, let me look into this. I might want to go ahead and mint this.
Yeah,
And
I do it all the time. Like whenever like people that I look up to in the NFT space, like people
yep,
have like talked like a couple of times, when they talk about a project, I know maybe like it's worthy, and then I can go and look into that project and like
yep,
understand about it. Yeah, like that's a good way to go about it.
yeah,
So so you're suggesting that people should do their research before like buying anything, right?
of
And
course.
when somebody's no, I mean like if somebody's a newbie, they should like get involved with the projects, right? Go into their discords and go to their Twitter and talk to people who are there, and
Yes.
even like yeah, attend like a lot of spaces, speak in spaces, ask questions.
And
uh
and Twitter's good, or a different Discord, because the one, um if you go into the actual Discord of the project, you're going to get a
yeah.
little skewed opinion. Like probably 95% of the people in that Discord are going to tell you that, like, it's the next Bored Ape, and that like this project is the best project out there. So
Yeah.
you got to keep in mind that you're getting you're going to get a real rosy picture if you're in the Discord of that project. I mean, you're in a bubble where everybody's a fan of it and everybody wants it to do well. So sometimes it's good to step outside that Discord for a minute and maybe mention it on Twitter to try to find somebody to give you a little bit more balanced opinion of like,
Mm.
you might want to be careful of this, or yeah, this project's good, but I prefer this one for some reason.
um you said bored apes, right? And I think a lot of people, bored apes has now become like a cultural phenomena. Like a lot of like celebrities are aping into it. What do you like, what is your opinion about people spending so much, like people offering so much money for bored apes, right?
It's just a status symbol. Like, most people, you don't need a expensive watch, right? Like most people don't even need a watch because they can tell time on their phone, or you can
Yeah.
buy like a $5 watch. But you have a lot of people out there that, will spend $25,000 on a watch because it's kind of a status thing. And they're like, hey, if people look at my wrist, some people will know, like, oh, hey, that's a Rolex, that's a mighty
Mhm.
expensive watch. And so it's, similar to that. People, there are more people than you think in this world that have lots and lots of money, so they just want to spend it on something that kind of shows their status, and it can't all just be houses and fancy cars, I guess.
Yeah. So you think that like somebody spent 1,500 each, more than that, I mean, on a serum, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Seven figures.
yeah,
So
that's
like do you think like like do bored apes like have this much utility, or like it does have
yeah.
that much utility, like because you'll always like find a buyer who's gonna like willing to like pay more than what they've
Right.
spent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any project PFP has that much utility, but
Yeah,
the other thing that
all the
makes,
hype, right?
yeah, but I mean, kind of like Bitcoin or crypto, the fixed supply is the key, because there's only X amount of them. If the demand
Mhm.
gets high enough, you can make a ton of money, and people just keep bidding it up because there's scarcity. I mean, there's only 10,000 of these apes, and if you know 8,000 of them are already with people who are just never going to sell them for whatever reason, there just aren't that many to buy. And all of a sudden, yes, you have actors and celebrities and athletes start buying them, and there just aren't any to buy, so the price is going to keep going up. You know, that can't happen forever, but I mean, that's, you know, I don't think, honestly, most NFTs at this point, I don't think the utility that they're promising
Offering.
or offering or providing probably isn't even worth more than 2 ETH. Um, but a lot of these projects, you know, can go to 20 ETH just because there's scarcity and only so many. And if they do a good job and they get popular and they build that community, like you go in the Discord and they're just, I mean, people just enjoy holding them, and as long as people do, they'll hold their value.
Okay, so I have just like 2 questions left. One is my personal question. So I heard that Doodles did not have a roadmap, right? When they launched, it was just for the art, right?
I
So
believe so. I'm not too familiar with, I mean, I know Doodles, but I don't know too much about them, but I believe that might be correct.
okay, let's assume this is correct. And I just want to know, like, why do people buy PFP projects with no roadmap? Like, why do they do it for the art? Like, yeah, it's
Yeah, I
cute,
don't
but
understand that. Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, I think, yeah, the most important thing is making sure you understand the founders of the project and that they're doxed and you know who they are and can read about them. And then the second most important thing might be like, yeah, do they have a roadmap? Do they have a plan? Because it's not, to me, it's not just a picture.
yeah.
You know, it is, you're building a community and you're building a small business. You know, and that's what, you know, these secondary sales, I mean, that's what's, you know, really good for the market as well, is, you know, all these secondary sales is providing a commission to the project. So they're getting that money to, you know, keep building out the metaverse and what they're doing with that. Or, I don't like these projects, but some projects are like, you know, hey, we're just going to take that money and we're going to sweep the floor. So as long as people keep buying and money keeps coming into the project, they got money to keep, you know, buying and supporting the price.
So yeah, so like explaining this a bit, it's like when a project like launches, it's called the primary sale, as we talked about it, and people mint it. And usually the mint price is around 0.05, 0.03. It could be higher, like it's completely dependent on the project.
Yep.
0.03 ETH, 0.05 ETH. And then once the people like the primary sale is over, like project sells out, then it goes to the secondary market, and then people can buy from there, and from the like project like collect royalties, right,
Yep.
from the secondary sales, and that's how like the whole project is funded.
Right.
Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, they get the most of it from the mint. So they get that 0.05 times however many they sell. But then going forward, it's the secondary sales that they get a commission off of. Like I said, it's generally 2.5 to maybe as high as 10%. But that's, so when these projects take off, like Bored Ape, they, you know, they have so much money, you know, it's easy for them to market and advertise, and then essentially start distributing it to their PFP holders. I mean, they
So
kind of
NFTs are basically like a business,
their total
and
business.
yeah, so it's just not a picture, right? It's a complete business model, and I love it. And I think uh yeah, it comes like it takes us to like the last question. Like, what do you think, like, is NFT, how, like, are they going to fade like in coming years, like in like coming 1-2 years, or
Um,
do you think it's gonna like go crazy, like
I still
everybody
think,
is gonna be in NFTs?
I think we're still early, so I think there's still going to be a lot of them that go kind of crazy, and it won't just be the apes. There's going to be some other like really big winners, but at the same time, there's just been so many come to market. You know, some of them have already got, like I said, I mean, I have some where they were just bad actors, and they, you know, it was basically a rug, and they're worthless now. Um, there'll be a lot more of those, and then there'll be, you know, projects, just like a lot of businesses fail, and there'll be a
Yeah.
lot of NFTs that have people that have good intentions and try to make it work, but just the demand wasn't there, and they'll fail, and their NFTs will go to zero, and that'll be the vast majority of them. But you can, if you can buy 4 or 5 that go to zero if you find one that goes from 0.1 to 10 ETH. That more than makes up for numerous ones going to zero if you just have one really big
Yeah.
winner.
So it's like a gold rush, right? Like the way Gary Vee describes it, we are in a gold rush period, and a lot of projects are gonna go to dust, but a lot of winners are also gonna come out. And so you think investing in blue chip projects, or the projects which have been like doing consistently well over like last 6 months, that's like a good strategy, right? They are like much harder to get into because they are much costlier, but they're more stable.
Um, yes, for your big blue chips, but there's also quite a few projects out there that have been around for 4 or 5 months that aren't expensive yet. That just for whatever reason haven't had a big pop. And yeah, I mean, to me those are pretty interesting, because you can look at them and be like, oh well, this was their roadmap, and they said they were going to do X, Y, and Z, and they did do these things. And
Name one.
name one.
Yeah.
Alien
I know
Boy.
what you're gonna know.
Yeah, I said
Oh, I was
Alien
gonna
Boy.
say the same thing.
Yeah, that's one.
When you bought the Alien Boy, right? I bought the Alien Boy after 2-3 days. No, because I saw that you bought one, and Vivek was saying that goats and Alien Boy are like, they are like a no-brainer. I was like, yeah, it makes sense. And I also bought
They've been around
Alien
for a
Boy.
long time. And then their Doxxed founder is a guy named
Georgie.
Georgie. I don't know him, but everything I read and hear about him on Spaces, everybody just says like he's one of the
Georgie is
top
like a gem.
developers in the game. So it's like, hey,
Yeah.
it'd be nice to it's like, again, you're investing in the founder, and if they've got one of the best developers around, then that seems like a wise thing to invest in. I mean, people are always going to want him to, even if the
Yeah.
Alien Boy doesn't take off, they're still going to want him to, for all of his skills and knowledge.
Alien Boy is a good one. Okay, so just name one project that you hate, like that's not gonna make it, right?
Name a project that I hate that's not going to
Yeah.
make it.
That you don't understand, like why do people like buy that project?
Well, just because I just said that one, let's I don't know enough about them. I shouldn't say like I hate it, but what I don't quite understand is, so there was one called Alien Frens that just came out maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it had a big influencer, Gary Vee, basically say, hey, let's start sweeping the floor and let's buy this. And he pumped it, and basically their roadmap is hey, we're going to come out with another roadmap in 3 months. We're going to have merch, we're going to have a comic book, and we're going to sweep the floor. And it's like there's not a lot to that, and that has pumped all the way to like 3 ETH. I think it's pulled back some, but it's just like, I don't understand why everybody would be buying that as opposed to the Alien Boy, which has been executing a business and showing that they can do things for 4 or 5 months, and has a very well-known, respected founder. But that just
I
shows
tried
you, like,
minting Alien Friend for 0.02.
yeah,
Of course, like because the public sale was like, it was around like 1,000 left, and tried it, gone in 1 second, I guess.
should have bought it on the secondary the next day.
I didn't have enough money left, and I was like, yeah, okay, it's another project. And then when it went to 2 ETH, I was like, wow, I should have. I mean, but the thing is, yeah, you're right. Like I've heard that they do not have any roadmap and stuff like that. So it's very crazy. Like NFT, it's difficult to understand like why some projects like do good and some just do not, in spite of being good projects. So that's like a mystery. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think like I'm done with my questions. Like I had a lot of more questions, but I wanted like this to go very organically. And it was really nice talking to you. I think now like we both are more comfortable, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, also like I want you to just tell us about the goats a bit, like the forging and stuff. And
Oh,
then
yeah. So I'm doing another forge next weekend. So that interesting and innovative thing that Goats did with their founder. So their founder, like I said, he's a very dox guy. His name's Des. He's
Mm.
been around uh, for a while. He was with the Zed Run. I think he kind of was known there and was doing some stuff with Zed. Then when Bored Apes were minting, he minted a bunch of Bored Apes. Um,
Wow.
and yeah, his track record of what he buys does really well. But then he started this project Goats with the idea of it being a customizable and deflationary PFP. So basically, they have what's called the forge, and you can take two goats and take the traits you like from each one and merge them into one. So the supply goes down by one goat because one goat gets sent to the burn address, and then the other goat comes out uh, cleaner and customized, and you just like it better because you picked of the two goats, you picked the hair you like the best, you picked the mouth you
So
like
you
the
can
best.
choose,
Yes,
like can you choose? Okay.
yes, yeah. You choose the outfit you like, and you make it. Um, so that's taken the supply. It started like in June with 10,000 goats, and it's down to 7,500. So they've decreased the supply by 25%, and that deflationary push continues. It's like I said, the customization of the goats. It makes it more personal for people, and they kind of like their PFP more because they can choose exactly what they want. Um, we had a bunch of we've had quite a few doctors in the past week or two come into the Discord, and like all of a sudden the doctor goats have gotten popular. I was
I
so
told you this, right?
you told me this.
No, I like you asked me like which kind of goats, like which traits will do good in India.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
I was like, yeah, people are like obsessed with professions like being doctors or scientists or stuff like that. It might like do good.
Yep. And
So
then so Goats just came out with their roadmap for this year last week, and that's going to be a pretty bit, focus on the metaverse and the 6x6 plot they have in the sandbox that they're building out. They released kind of a companion to the goats called Kids, which are just like baby goats, and there's only 3,000 of those. They've minted 2 of the 3,000. There's only 1,000 left to mint. That'll probably go, I would say, within the next week or two. That'll probably be sold out because those.
the kids are still minting.
Yep, you can mint them for
Oh, why did I bought
point
it
one.
from secondary? I mean, I could mint
because
it,
because
right?
people because they introduced Kids when the gas was really really high, so they didn't sell out on their mints, and then because they hadn't introduced the utility for the Kids yet, there really wasn't
Mhm.
any value to them at the beginning. So a lot
What's
of
the
people that
mint
bought them,
price for the kid? I mean,
it's 0.14 for one, 0.13 for two, and if you do three or more, it's 0.12. So on the
okay.
second on the
So
secondary.
buying from secondary, it's better to like buy from
Well,
the secondary
Well,
then.
well, it what on the secondary they got down to like 0.04 or 0.05. Um, but in the
That's
past
the
in the
important.
past week, I think the floor now is like 0.11. So it's kind of like
Wow.
right at that mint price, to where most people now are kind of choosing to like mint to try to get a more rare one as opposed to buying one on the floor at 0.11.
Mm,
But those kids are going to be
makes sense. Yeah.
they're building in the metaverse Adventureland, which is going to be kind of a play to earn, where your kids will go in there and they
Mhm.
will earn what they're going to call goat milk, and then that goat milk is going to essentially be the token that you use in the metaverse to um, buy improved avatars, maybe things for when you have a goat, you're going to get a house in the metaverse or in Goatsville, and
Yeah.
maybe buy I don't know exactly, but maybe furniture for your house or cars, but it's going to be the token that runs that economy essentially. um like one of the things you can do with the tokens, you're gonna be able to name your goat. So as opposed to showing like ID number 1510, you can change that to where, it could be, Dr.
Remove.
Goat or whatever. Yeah, you can just, anyway, whatever you want to name them, you can name them.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be some partnerships he hinted at with some other projects coming up, but and then just more forging, more deflation. I think right now there's less than there's less than 900 goats for sale on Opensea right now. That number just keeps going down and down as the community keeps building and people keep buying and happy with them. So pretty optimistic there could be a pretty big spike in the price, because if that number of goats for sale, if it drops too much more, I mean the price has got to start, just simple supply and demand, right?
Yeah. So I love the goats. Like, so they're gonna go down to like what number? Like deflationary? They're gonna keep burning them till they go to like a specific number?
No, I don't think he's got a specific number in mind, but it's just everybody understands that like
Half of them?
I don't think it'll probably get quite that low. What maybe
It's already
6,000,
7,500.
but just as it keeps getting lower and lower, two things are happening. The price has been going up on the floor, and so that makes people a little bit more hesitant to essentially send one of those to the burn address, because you're like, gosh, I don't, I could sell this for 0.3 ETH. Am I really gonna send it to a burn address just to forge it and make my other goat better? And so you have that debate, like, well, is it gonna, is it really gonna improve the value of my remaining goat by that 0.3 or more to make it, worth forging? So as that price goes up, people will forge less, and then also just as you forge your goat, it gets to be, better looking and cleaner and more personal, and just as that's once that's done, like you won't forge that goat anymore. You're like, this goat is done, like, perfect. I'm not gonna
it's like a strategy game, right? You need to decide like what you're gonna do with your goat. Do you wanna forge it, make it better, or like do you wanna like keep two goats and like have more money with it, as the flow keeps rising, right?
Right. But yeah, but it could be like, wow, if I take these, I bought these two goats for 0.25 each, but I think if I forge them together, I'll have a goat that's worth 0.75 that I could sell for. So some people would just do that because they think they're getting, they're creating value by making the goat look that much more better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the game of it. And then, this has all just been fun. And this is before Goatsville opens in the metaverse, and once that happens, we'll see. It should be even better when you get to take your goat into Goatsville and interact with people in that way.
I'm pretty excited about that. I mean, the project's going into metaverse and giving you that experience. That's that's what I'm in it for.
Yeah, I am too, but I'm just tempering my expectations, because I think the Sandbox might take a little bit longer to open up. Then all these projects are kind of ready to go, but the Sandbox has to like bring it all together. And I think I think for a while they've been saying Q2, but I would not be surprised if Q2 ends up being Q3 or Q4 as they get closer to launch. They're like, we need to take a little more time to work out the bugs.
Yeah, I mean, still it's pretty early. Like we're gonna get this like in this year, I think, maybe towards the end, I would say.
Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, I'm ready to jump in. It's like, I'll be a beta tester if they want.
Wow. Yeah, even me, like I went into like some of the projects metaverses, like the projects that I'm part of. It's like the Indian project, and loved it here. Like they had this feature, spatial listening, and you could like roam around in the park and talk to people in real time from avatars
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. I was pretty stoked about it. Like I loved it there. So yeah, I mean, it's like a very different experience, and um,
Right. Yeah.
I'm very bullish on NFTs. Yeah. So this we come to an end of this podcast, and I really enjoyed the conversation. And uh, thank you so much, Kenny, for doing this. Like it has been wonderful, and like the last time we talked, I got to learn a lot of things from you, and even this time. So
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. I and like I said, in July, I knew almost nothing, and it's taken other people, listening to other people in Discords and Twitter Spaces, and to make me finally feel like I kind of know what I'm talking about, and can try to onboard people the way people helped onboard me by just helping and answering my questions.
yeah, so I'm gonna put your Twitter ID in the description box of this video. So if anybody wants to like know anything about NFTs, or wanna like know where the Goat's Discord is, or any query, they can hit you up,
Yeah, I'm
right?
not that. Yeah, I'm not that popular or busy. Anybody can at me anytime, and I'll probably respond.
But I would say like, yeah, right now I would say, but I would say that you're doing extremely well. You're very helpful, you're very kind, and next time you come to India, to Udaipur,
Mhm.
definitely hit me up, send me a text.
Yeah,
Would-
yeah. I don't know when I'll be getting over there again, but hopefully.
COVID is a bitch. I mean,
I'm sorry.
um,
Oh, COVID.
COVID has
Yeah.
been like, yeah, but I think it will happen. I've made a lot of Twitter friends, and I keep
Oh, did you?
inviting them to India.
He's actually said he was American, but in the Discord, I kind of tagged you that there was somebody that was living in.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
that. Like, he
Did
said that
you?
he's from Mumbai.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
that's where. But I think he said he's American, but he's been like working there for a couple of years or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I like connections like that. So it's just like I was like, oh, you're in India. Well, you know, you should talk to this person because you've got that in common. So
that's fun. I mean, I'm going to Mumbai in I think 3 days. No,
yeah,
sorry, 5 days. Yeah.
not
So
that was probably my least favorite place in India. Delhi
why?
was also too many people. And I assume it's the same way. Do they still have just like auto rickshaws everywhere? Yeah, and
Yeah,
just the
still
exhaust,
same. Yeah.
the pollution and exhaust those put out, like it within like 24
Bombay
hours. Like,
has Bombay is like the financial capital of India.
no, no,
So yeah,
yeah, I understand all that, but like literally within 24 hours, like my nose was running from the pollution, and like I said, there were just people everywhere, just in your face, and it's just like get me out of these. I kind of felt the same way in Delhi, and but yeah, once got out of
these
those,
has been like the big cities of India. So
yeah,
definitely I understand like, and for people like you, like you come from a place where there's a lot less the population is like really low. And in India it's like it's just people, right?
yeah. But I mean, you say
Just
that, but then India is so massive. Like you can get when we were driving, in between Udaipur and Jaisalmer. I mean, you hit long sections of road where you don't see anybody for like an hour. You're driving and there's nobody around. So I mean, it's not. It's just the big cities are just too big. they need to
yeah.
spread everybody out a little bit.
Everybody's trying to get into the big cities because of the opportunities and stuff like that. But you're right, like India is a big country. I mean, and it's also very diverse. Like from one part of India you would not like find the same thing on the other part of India. Like Rajasthan is completely different from south or
Yep.
even north. Yeah, so that's that. And but I think India in itself is an experience, and and that's why I think a lot of people like come and visit India. And so yeah, I think that's that. So It's been like really nice talking to you, Kenny.
Yep.
And I
Nice
know
talking
like
to you.
it's like really, really late.
What time is it here? Oh, it's not too bad. Almost midnight.
Almost midnight.
But it's Friday night,
Um,
so I don't have to wake up tomorrow for work or anything.
Oh, that's nice. Today's
Yeah.
Saturday for me. Yeah, just give me a second.